You ever find yourself mapping out this brilliant, complex strategy for work, and then you open your inbox and just stare at it, totally unable to reply to a simple email? If that sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone. It's this super frustrating paradox. And today, we're going to unpack the surprising reason why your amazing brain thrives on tough problems, but just stalls out on the simple stuff.
I mean, it's the question, right? We've all asked ourselves this while staring at a pile of paperwork or a to-do list of boring errands. We start to beat ourselves up, thinking, I must be so lazy. But what if that's not it at all? What if the problem isn't a lack of motivation, but that the task itself is just way too boring for your brain?
And this slide just nails it. This is the paradox in action. On the one hand, you can solve these incredibly complex problems, learn a whole new language, dive into dense data, no problem. But on the other hand, replying to simple emails, doing expense reports, filing paperwork, it can feel like you're trying to climb Mount Everest. This crazy mismatch is exactly what we're digging into. Okay, so that feeling, that specific struggle of being able to, design a rocket ship in your head, but not being able to wash the dishes, well, it actually has a name. And just giving it a name is the first big step to understanding it and finally getting a handle on it. And here it is. It's called the complexity gap. It's basically the giant chasm between what your brain is capable of doing and what a simple, boring task is actually asking of it. When a task doesn't offer nearly enough of a challenge, a highly active brain it refuses to engage. It's not a character flaw, let me say that again. It is a cognitive mismatch. This chart really puts it into perspective, doesn't it? Think of it this way. Your brain's capacity is like a high-performance race car, just humming, ready to tear up the track. But that simple task in front of you, it's asking that incredible engine to just sit and park. So of course it stalls out. It's literally understimulated. So what is actually happening in your brain on a neurological level? What's going on up there? Because when your brain is faced with what it considers shallow work, it stages this kind of fascinating protest. Let's get into the science of being totally and completely underwhelmed. I absolutely love this quote because it just reframes the entire issue perfectly. Your brain is not lazy. It's wired to seek out new things, to solve puzzles, to find patterns. And when it doesn't get that kind of stimulation, it feels starved. So that resistance you feel, that's not laziness. It's your brain's hunger for a real mental meal. Okay, digging a little deeper, there are three key systems at play here. First, your dopamine reward system. It's all about challenge and reward. It lights up when you're tackling something tough that has a meaningful payoff. A simple chore, no challenge, no reward, so your brain gets zero motivational kick. Second, your prefrontal cortex, that's the CEO of your brain. For planning and deep focus, it just checks out. Without a complex problem to sink its teeth into, it goes into low power mode. And finally, your brain's incredible pattern recognition machine is just left idling. With nothing interesting to analyze, it just gets bored, creating this restless feeling that makes you want to do literally anything else. Now, this might all sound like a minor inconvenience, but when this gap is ignored day after day, it starts to have some pretty serious consequences for our productivity and, honestly, for our well-being. It's a spiral, and it probably sounds really familiar. It usually starts with just a little bit of resistance, that, I don't wanna feeling. Then, that feeling hardens into active procrastination, where we'll find anything else to do. And finally, that procrastination leads to this heavy cloud of guilt and anxiety, which of course only makes it even harder to start the task. It's such a vicious cycle. And the real cost of being stuck in that cycle isn't just a messy desk or an overdue bill. It can lead to chronic procrastination that really starts to affect your career, burnout from that constant mental tug-of-war, and this deep, nagging feeling that you're somehow failing, even when you're knocking it out of the park in other, more complex areas of your life. Okay, enough of the problem, right? Let's talk about solutions, because the good news is you can absolutely learn to bridge this complexity gap. The whole key is to start working with your brain's nature instead of constantly fighting against it. This right here is the fundamental mindset shift. You can't just use brute force or willpower to make your brain care about a boring task. It's just not going to work. But you can trick it. You can repackage the task in a way that your novelty-seeking brain finds, well, a little bit more interesting to play with. So here are three super powerful strategies you can try. First up, gamification. Turn a chore into a game. Set a timer, see how fast you can do it, give yourself points, anything to add a layer of challenge. Next, there's task batching. Group all your boring, similar tasks, like answering emails or making calls, into one focused power hour. This creates a single, more substantial challenge for your brain to tackle. And finally, time boxing. This is so simple but so effective. Just using a timer creates a finish line and a sense of urgency that your brain can actually latch onto. So look, if there is only one thing you take away from all of this, please let it be this. If you struggle with simple tasks, stop seeing it as a weakness or a character flaw. It's actually evidence of a powerful, highly engaged mind that is just desperate for a real challenge. You just have to learn how to speak its language. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Instead of focusing on the simple chores you're avoiding, what's the big, juicy, complex problem that you're going to feed your brain today? Go find that challenge. Thanks for tuning in.